Olympic spirit will move people everywhere to dream of a world without boundaries. At AT&T, we believe communication can help make that happen. Because when people communicate, there's no limit to what they can do.
1,000 meters. Now on the track, the men's 10,000 meters, 25 laps of this 400-meter oval. And I can imagine that a few of these guys looked closely at that women's race. There is Todd Williams, #1 in the U.S., 3 of the last 4 years. Man who ran a very strong solo performance in his semifinal to get the feel of the track and the conditions. There is Ed Eyestone, favorite here in Atlanta, former winner of the Peachtree Road Race held every July 4th. He too will be a recognizable figure in this field. Here's a look at the competitors led by Todd Williams. Pat Porter, many times U.S. cross-country champion. Dan Middleman, very strong distance runner. As the rest of the field, keep your eye on Chris Fox, who in his semi drifted to the back of the field early on and charged forward to make this final.
The question is I have here, that's a smart move. See, whoa, you got to be real careful in this lap. Everybody's too crowded. See, one guy lost his shoe. Exactly. Exactly. I was in a race indoors once. Somebody stepped in my heel of the shoe, and I should have probably pulled over. It was only a mile, though, and it came off, and I had to stop. But smart move in a 10K. Get the shoe back on.
That was Chris Fox, in fact. What a way to start your 10,000 final. He was not that far behind the pack, however, about 10 meters off the rear of it.
Most people here gave Fox a chance to be on the team here, and he put himself, of course, at a real handicap there by about 40 or 50 meters by losing that shoe. He's almost regained the pack up there now.
I mentioned he drifted to the back of the pack in his semis. There you see Fox. Now he just put himself there in a more dramatic fashion is all. Todd Williams leads the field as they come to the line the first time.
Easy pace. I'm surprised here. Todd went out, if you didn't catch the results or happened to see it on ESPN, he went out slowly in the qualifying 10,000 meters. These men have all qualified by running a race earlier a couple of days ago here, and this is their second 10K in heat, and it really affected many of them. In talking with them afterwards, Bob, they were saying that they held together for 4 or 5 miles, but the heat and humidity really came up and bit them in the latter stages of this 10,000 race. 10,000 meters, 6.2 miles.
William leads away. Ed Eyestone runs in third. Middleman runs fourth. Eric Polonski in the second spot now, being challenged by Ed Eyestone up the inside as they continue to shuffle the order in the early laps of this race. There will be 23 laps to go next time by. Pretty disheartening news if you are not super fit, as each of these athletes are. Their race lies before them. Mary Slaney's race is done, at least for the moment. Next time she comes into this stadium, it will be for the Olympic Games. Stay with us. Temperature continues to drop. It remains humid, but it is a very pleasant evening in the stadium, and that bodes well for the Olympic Games. On the track, the 10,000 meter final for men continues. 21 laps to go.
Bob, the pace is very comfortable. 4 minutes and 40 seconds that they've run their first mile in here. We have gotten better here at this distance running gambit. We're obviously weak by world standards. There are a host of countries that do extraordinarily well. Of course, the Kenyans, Ethiopians lead the pack, but only 2 in our last Olympiad in Barcelona of the 16 finalists in 1992 had Olympic qualifying marks. We're doing better now. 8 of the 16 finalists that you're looking at right now have already qualified if they earn a berth here on this team based on a time basis that you need to get into the Olympics.
Todd Williams leads. Brad Barquist in red, running along with Ed Eyestone, second and third.
Barquist has one of those qualifying times. You have to have run 28 minutes and 10 seconds for 10,000 meters on the track within the year and a half prior to coming into these Olympic trials in order to go to the games. And Brad had run 28:07 earlier.
Running in fourth with the glasses, you see him over Barquist's shoulder, is Keith Dowling. Pack still very bunched. 20 laps to go.
It's Chris Fox, 37 years of age, with the Brooks uniform on. These men will get their pulse rates up to about 180, in some cases a little higher. That's 90% of capacity, and they will be able to hold it for as much as 20 minutes, 25 minutes of all-out running. And as you get close to the last mile or two, fatigue sets in and the pulse moves even higher, in some cases close to 190.
Bit of a breakaway for Todd Williams, who moves out into a quick 10-meter lead. This race is changing complexion. As it does, let's join Dwight Stones for more field event action.
Bob, that pulse rate I was referring to is beats per minute, up to 190 during the latter parts of this race. Todd Williams thinks of himself really as America's best, and he is thinking of how do I beat the Kenyans and the Ethiopians, not this field.
Notice who's running second right now. Chris Fox, who had the shoe come off his foot, perhaps clipped off of his heel. He knelt, put it back on, closed the gap, and now he runs in second place. Coming down, 18 laps to go. Travis Walters runs third.
Fox has run the marathon as fast as you have for a lifetime best, both 2:15 marathoners. Big guy.
Just one of the things we have in common. We're also both tall. That's about it.
That's true.
I finished sixth in those trials back in 1976 behind another tall marathoner who went on to do great things, Don Cardong, who finished within a long putt of Karel Liesman of Belgium for the bronze medal.
That's true. And he was fourth, and he has made major contributions to the sport of road racing. We tip our hat to Don Cardong. We tip our hat also to the man who's out there right now, Todd Williams, forcing the pace. The others are trying to hold on to him.
Surging just a little bit. Chris Fox.
There's the man who lost the shoe.
Let's go back to that. This was on the first turn. They were just into basically the second turn. Watch for Fox right there.
Somebody clipped his foot.
And his right shoe came right off the heel. No problem. Slip it back on. Watch your life pass before your eyes and rejoin the field for the final.
But you do it with some finesse when you're 37 years of age. You don't panic.
Now he runs second, closing up once again on Williams. Williams, I am impressed with his race planning. And we saw him run all alone in his semi to test himself, give himself as an accurate a measure as he could of what it's going to be like on the Olympic schedule. And now he's playing with race tactics. Confident runner, feels he has the field in hand. He's going to try some surging tactics, see who responds.
Even if you're a jogger, you can appreciate what Todd Williams has been doing. A year ago, to qualify for this race, he ran one of the fastest times ever run by an American, 27 minutes and 31 seconds for this race. What that means is he averaged right on 4 minutes and 25 seconds per mile, and he did it consecutively for 6.2 miles. And he then decided, and of course that training was geared towards trying to make him world class, and he said, I want to beat the Kenyans. That's my goal. I know it's tough.
He is now off into a race of his own, as he was in the semifinal. He has opened up about a 40-meter gap on the field. No one quite responding, as you see right there. Make that 60 meters now. Williams is increasing the pace. 4
minutes and 40 seconds first mile. Second mile 4:33, and he is beginning to scorch everybody else. America's best by 30 seconds at this distance.
Roughly halfway through the race, and as he crosses the start-finish line, enters the south turn. He passes in review before the members of his running camp. He and 5,000-meter specialist Bob Kennedy are sharing a running camp. As you can see, they are prepared to support their man to the bitter and occasionally tasteless end.
And it says, Todd Williams rules. That's great, isn't it?
That's does great. Indeed. There you see the gap. And he expands with each lap over the field.
If you're not a true running fan and you're a general sports fan, trust me on one particular point. This stadium that holds 83,000 people will be rocking the night of the finals of the men's 10,000 meters. On the world scale, it's actually tremendously exciting, and you'll have great performances. It'll just be a stunning evening of track and field. The place will be rocking, I guarantee you, with foreigners here that come to cheer on their great distance runners.
There's number 61, Joe LeMay, who leads the pack. 29 years old, was 17th at the 1992 trials, running well here. On the backstretch, running all alone, America's best at 10,000 meters, Todd Williams leads the 10K final here at the U.S. Olympic Trials. Bob Varsha, Larry Rawson with you, along with Dwight Stones, Carol Lewis, and Lewis Johnson. Beginning next week, the X Games will be coming your way from Providence, Rhode Island. The second annual edition of extreme sports at their very best. Beginning June 24th on ESPN and ESPN2. We'll begin with inline downhill and street luge duel competition, among many other very cool sports. So be sure to tune in. Todd Williams crosses the line with 11 laps to go. His fans in turn 2 continue to cheer him on.
To try and beat the Kenyans, to try and get Haile Gabriel Selassie, whose world record averages out to 4:17 a mile, is a tremendous task. Daunting. But this man has the confidence to believe, and he's already knocked a tremendous amount of time off his best 10,000s. He believes he can do it. He believes that he can achieve it by dint of hard work, good preparation, and a complete approach to the sport.
You at home are among the world's finest athletes watching these trials. Many of the countries that will be competing a month from now in the Olympics are already here. They're already trying to learn everything they can about this racing surface that has produced some stunning performances in the trials already.
Bob, this surface is not kind to this man. This surface was made for world records in sprints. They realize here in Atlanta, naturally, because of heat and humidity, you won't set any world records in distance races. This surface, Mondo, has 4 different textures that you can buy in it, and each one is softer or harder than the other. They have a Duraflex 4. That is the hardest rubber that they have. It is only 3/8 of an inch thick. You can't get any thinner layer of rubber on a track and have it still be legal. Underneath this surface is asphalt. On other tracks of the world, they sometimes put another substance to cushion that asphalt. They simply laid right over the asphalt just 3/4, or rather 3/8 of an inch of rubber, which is hard. It does not give back to the athlete at all, and it doesn't cushion him so he can bounce as he runs. It's like running on asphalt.
Look at the gap behind Todd Williams. Nobody. Second, third, and fourth place runners just coming off turn 2 onto the straightaway. There they are. Ed Eyestone, Keith Dowling, and Joe LeMay. And keep in mind, this is for 3 positions. Williams has checked out. Eyestone now trying to open up a gap over Dowling and LeMay. 4 men make that 3 men to decide 2 positions on the Olympic team.
You know, it's interesting. 2 men holding up well so far back there are both marathoners. Keith Dowling has run the marathon and the 10K, and the man up in second place was on our Olympic team at the marathon distance in Barcelona. Eddie Eyestone right there. And I think their stamina is coming into play here after having run a difficult 10,000 a few nights before in this heat and humidity.
Now let's join Dwight Stones with more on the field event competition.
Meters.
Todd Williams has just crossed the start-finish line with 8 laps remaining. Now less than 3,200 meters for Williams to take his berth on the squad.
Bob, 5,000 meters hit in 14 minutes and 28 seconds. And LeMay hangs on. Eyestone is in second.
Ed Eyestone in firm control of second place at age 35. Joe LeMay runs third with Keith Dowling close behind. Night has fallen over the Olympic Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Bob Varsha along with Larry Rawson and Dwight Stones as the men's 10,000 meter continues. There is Todd Williams, who took this race from the scruff of the neck from the very beginning, surged into the lead, and now he has more than a 100-meter advantage over the second place man, Ed Eyestone. Running in third is Joe LeMay. The interesting thing here, neither Eyestone nor LeMay has met the minimum Olympic qualifying standard for the 10,000 yet.
Bob, that standard is 28 minutes and 10 seconds, and you must do it in order to actually run in the Olympics. So if they finish second or third, they will have to try and get a qualifier sometime soon. That failing, then whoever has run under the qualifier and then finishes behind these guys will go to the Olympics.
Lots of time still to do that.
Barquist right now is in striking distance of hauling in a few people up there. He has run under that qualifier.
And Middleman, another strong runner, runs 5th right now. He too has a chance to move up, but the top 3 are well away, and Williams has disappeared over the horizon. Look at the gap he has opened up. Now there's Ed Eyestone.
And he is approximately 100 meters, maybe 120 meters behind Todd Williams, who is approaching 5 laps to go in this race. 1.25 miles left for Todd Williams.
And Eyestone just turned 35 2 days ago. Two-time Olympic marathoner, two-time NCAA champion at Brigham Young. 15th at this year's marathon trials, but there may be a spot on the Olympic team in his future. He can hold on. LeMay closing up just a little bit in third place. All right, thank you, Dwight. There you see Todd Williams, who continues to run out front. An interesting situation developing. There is Ed Eyestone running second, being caught by Joe LeMay. Neither of those men, however, has met the minimum Olympic standard. Larry mentioned it before, 28:10. If they should not get it between now and the 16th of July, as the games are set to begin, there are other athletes in this field who have met the standard. Right now, they are Dan Middleman, who runs fifth, and Brad Barquist behind him. And what could conceivably happen is either or both of those could replace the men who finished second and third tonight.
Bob, now LeMay has moved into second place. Lives in Danbury, Connecticut, works a 40-hour work week, if you can imagine that. There you're looking at Todd Williams as he cruises along very comfortably. Way back, those are lapped runners that he has passed that you're seeing in your screen. The margin of his lead is still about 120 meters or so, as he has now just 2 laps to go.
Clicking them off at 70 seconds a lap. Todd Williams.
May holding on to second, coached by former great marathoner Tom Fleming. Eyestone is in third. And Dan Middleman, looking better and better, is moving up and gaining on both of them with 2 laps to go, but he's got about 50 meters to go to catch up with Eyestone.
Pat Porter.
Exactly, Pat Porter up there.
About to be lapped by Todd Williams.
Middleman has excellent speed. He's in fourth place, and he's got his gun sights. Eddie Eyestone, who's struggling in front of him, who's only now 30 meters in front of that man. That is Eyestone, who's in front of Middleman. Middleman has a qualifier.
There is Dan Middleman. His berth on the Olympic team is out there for him to take if he can run down Ed Eyestone.
One of the wonderful stories of the man you're looking at on your screen is he was carried off the track. There is Middleman, and he was carried off. He barely got in under the qualifier. Joe LeMay had a bad trial as well here a few days ago.
1 lap remains for Todd Williams, who will cross in front of his campers one more time. They are not worthy. They want to tell their man Williams, who is ruling this men's 10,000 meters. And the real fight is going on behind. Now, Dan Middleman simply blew by Ed Eyestone, who is struggling, noticeably limping on the racetrack and the home stretch. Middleman may have a shot at LeMay at the rate he is closing on him for second.
He's got great speed. I'm talking about Middleman, and he is now about 40 or 50 yards, but LeMay is running well up in second place.
And Brad Barquist has now gone by Ed Eyestone, who has stepped off the racetrack in exhaustion and disappointment. There is Eyestone.
Oh, this is a brutal, brutal race. 100 meters left to go for Todd Williams, and he acknowledges the applause.
He has run 27:31.34 in his career, but all that is irrelevant right now. It is not the time that is important, but the fact that he has finished first. He is the first qualifier at 10,000 meters for the U.S. Olympic team.
Here is Joe LeMay, a graduate of Princeton University, and he's going to come in second.
He will then have to go out and find himself a race in which to meet the minimum qualifying standard of 28:10. He will miss that mark by almost a minute in this trials. And here comes Dan Middleman to take the third and final spot. He is on his way back to Atlanta a month from now, and he is not believing it.
I spoke to Middleman earlier today and said, how do you feel after they carried you off? He said, I think I've recovered well. I've taken a lot of fluids. Here's poor Eddie Eyestone, one of the most disciplined runners that you'll ever find. All these distance runners are, imagine how badly he must feel to step off the track.
Middleman on the left, Williams on the right. Brad Barfield finished just behind Dan Middleman, I believe. You see Ed Eyestone being escorted off by the medical personnel.
Hey, Mom and Dad.
Interesting to see.
I did it. Kids at Powell Elementary School.
Barfield
I
takes LeMay's spot down the road.
Barquist may wind up taking that man's space. Joe LeMay. It never hurts your parts after you make the Olympic team, does it?
There are your unofficial results. Williams, LeMay, and Middleman, with Barquist lurking in the distance. We'll be back with more from Atlanta in just a moment.
Bob, the mind is the ultimate arbiter of the body.
This is Ed Eyestone, who at one point in this race was third, with a spot on the Olympic team waiting for him. But with a couple of laps remaining, though the mind was probably willing, the body was not. And Ed Eyestone stepped off. On the other hand, Todd Williams dominated the race, ensuring another year as #1 in America. And then he visited his campers in the grandstand, delighted that their man has dominated and made the Olympic team. Todd Williams will be back to salute the crowd in a month's time here in Atlanta's Olympic Stadium. It'll be party time in the camp tonight, but I bet he still has them up running early tomorrow morning. A great moment for Todd in the camp. Here's a look at the official results. Now let's make sure we have the situation clearly cut out for you. Todd Williams, Joe LeMay, and Dan Middleman are on the team. LeMay, however, lacks the minimum Olympic qualifying standard for the men's 10,000 meters. There is Dan Middleman being congratulated by his fan. The fourth place finisher, Brad Barquist, does have an Olympic qualifier, and if for some reason Joe LeMay cannot get one between now and July 16th, Barquist could be named to the team.
Bob, this man amazes me. Right here in your picture amazes me. He's written a book. He is going to graduate school at night. He is a full-time teacher and finds time to try and make the Olympic team at one of the most demanding disciplines, long-distance running, 10,000 meters. Amazing.
Todd Williams signs autographs.